Joining us now to talk about the Russia-Ukraine war, the Israel-Hamas war, and how both impact the Middle East and this world. Former Pakistani President Dr. Arif Alvi. He's actually a graduate from the University of Michigan many years ago, but yes. It's safe to say, right?
Yes, 1975.
1975. It is an honor to have you here and to interview you on this program. Thanks for joining us here.
Thank you very much.
So let me ask you, I want to play a soundbite because I want to ask you your reflections on this Trump administration, a president who you recently wrote a letter to after he assumed office for the second time, wishing him well. This is President Trump from 1986 talking to David Letterman about his thoughts on the world. See how they compare to what he's doing today. Take a listen.
It's a shame what's happening. Japan, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, everybody's taking advantage of the United States. People know that if certain people are running a country, that it won't happen. I mean, when you look at Japan not paying for the defense, we're defending Japan. We're losing billions and billions of dollars. We're fighting for AIDS help and for farmers and for this and that. And it's a shame. And the Japanese folks, who I respect greatly, but they're not treating us fairly. They're really not treating us fairly. Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, they're not paying us anything for the services we're rendering, and I think it's a disgrace. And I think people look at certain people, and maybe me, if I were in a position, this country, believe me, would not be ripped off like it is. And it is just being ripped off so badly by our so-called allies.
And so many years later, President Trump now has the power of his words that he had in that interview, and he says, America first. What are your thoughts on his America first policies?
I think that's an important thing to say, because recently I just heard a statement which Mr. President Trump made, and that was he's looking forward to 50% reductions in defense expenditure, and he's looking forward to cooperation with Putin and President Xi from China, and I believe that's a very good signal for world peace. I think United States and under President Trump has realized that spending so much money for wars outside of the United States is a great burden on the U.S. economy, and it shatters world peace everywhere. So this is good, and in fact, what he has been insisting on is what he said during his election process, is that he'll come to a solution as far as Ukraine is concerned. He wants to come to solutions. He wants to limit the influence of deep state in creating wars. I think this is an out-of-the-box attitude of the president, and that is what, when Mr. Imran Khan came, and I'm here on a mission that Imran Khan should be freed. And
who is the
Prime Minister, former Prime Minister. Yeah. And he has gone through something similar which Mr. Trump went through. Entire judiciary has been against him. He has been put under false charges into prison, and he's being the democracy in Pakistan has been totally sabotaged. The Supreme Court has been stacked up against the people and democracy. So
the weaponization of the justice system, as was claimed, was happening here.
And the human rights abuses which are happening in Pakistan. People, you see, all mediums are closed. Mr. Imran Khan's picture cannot be shown on television. His voice cannot be there. His trial is going place. Is happening inside the jail. And at the same time, all social media is closed. Twitter is closed. People of Pakistan don't know how to be able to communicate. So, and if they come out for a peaceful protest, many people, probably dozens, were killed on November 26th.
Doctor, I want to ask you a question. Why is it important, do you think, for Pakistan to restore its democracy for the world and for America? Why is it important that when one country does well under a democracy, how does it trickle away into other countries?
I think, number one, Pakistan was founded on democratic principles. You see, when the British were getting out of India, what they did was they held elections, and those regions which wanted to be part of Pakistan, they became part of Pakistan, and those regions which wanted to be part of India remained part of India. So Pakistan was founded on the principles of democracy. And Jinnah was the founder of Pakistan. He was a lawyer, very balanced, very mature personality, and he created this situation. And since then, Pakistan has been struggling to come into democracy. It is remarkable that India went towards democracy. Pakistan had this sprinkling of military capture and military rule almost continuously. Now, United States is founded on democracy.
Right.
See? And I believe the third most populous country in the world, which is the United States, and the fifth most popular country in the world, which is Pakistan, if there are democracies interacting with each other, rather than the United States acting with, cooperating with military dictators, etc., there will be a people-to-people loving contact with the U.S., which has never happened before.
Kind of like India and the U.S.
Yes.
has right now.
Has
That's
never
very
happened
important.
before.
I want to ask you a little bit about your opinion when you hear about this president talking about taking Gaza and relocating refugees. Is that something you think is reasonable, or is that simply a negotiation tool you think that President Trump is using?
I don't know what is in the mind of President Trump, but I think Pakistan government and the Muslim governments throughout do not like this kind of displacement, because you're cleansing, you're ethnic cleansing a place where traditionally throughout hundreds of years the Palestinians have been there, and what has happened in Gaza is something which the world has seen. You know, the people, the children, there's so much of killing which has happened, and we must come out of this situation. And Mr. Trump, President Trump has the capability of trying to solve the Middle East situation, and the United States has been committed to a two-state Palestinian solution, and I think that has to be worked upon.
My final question, as we only have 1 minute left here, you hear a lot about Elon Musk and you hear about the Department of Government Efficiency. Do you believe, just as an administrator, as someone who watches the world and was the leader in Pakistan, that he's going too far? Do you think his power is overreached, or do you think that he's in the right position?
I think that's a good mix in this government. Why is it a good mix? Because Mr. Elon Musk has done tremendous, he's done wonders in trying to handle scientific developments. In fact, in rocket science and everything, his approach is unique, and that experience is important with Mr. Trump. With Mr. Trump coming in and DOGE working on trying to trim inefficiencies in the government is important. And Mr. Trump has been conscious of the fact that USAID has been misused. And probably $17 million, or that figure, went into Pakistan Election Commission, which created the worst rigged elections in the history of Pakistan.
So you're saying the USAID money went to an election?
Helped in rigging of an election, the worst election in Pakistan. Mr. Imran Khan is 91% has 91% popularity in Pakistan, and I believe any change, and we believe in democratic change. We are here for looking for human rights, because they're being trampled. The people are put under violence, and it's tremendous change. We need the freedom to assemble, to protest, and the media.
Dr. Alvi, the former president of Pakistan, joining us here on The Pulse tonight. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Rick.
We appreciate